I want to start this off with the meaning of fall from grace. Lose favor or a position of power or honor. Not all of these are going to be because an athlete was out of control or breaking the law. There are so many reasons why an athlete doesn't reach their full potential, and not all of the reasons are their fault. Some of these things just happen. Anthony Penny Hardaway, a 6'7" point guard with Magic Johnson passing ability, but insane athleticism. Your favorite player's favorite player.
Talk about the next Michael Jordan, but who is your game pattern after?
I never pattern my game after anybody, but I can receive flashes of Magic and some of Penny Hardaway, one of my favorite players.
He was making dazzling passes and soaring through the air with grace and authority at the same time. One half of a dominant two-man attack on one of the coolest NBA teams with one of the dopest NBA jerseys. Plus, the Nike marketing machine was behind him. So what happened? Sports can be cruel. After getting swept in the first round by the Indiana Pacers to end the 1993-1994 season, the Orlando Magic were out for blood the following year. Everything just clicked. Behind Shaquille O'Neal's superhuman production, Penny taking a leap in his second season becoming an all-star, the inaugural Magic draft pick Nick Anderson giving quality minutes, the sharpshooting Dennis Scott doing what he does, and the newly acquired Horace Grant providing a steady hand in leadership, the Orlando Magic finished the regular season with a record of 57 wins and 25 losses. The Magic started off the playoffs by making quick work of the Boston Celtics 3-1. They faced the Chicago Bulls in the next round and, oh no. Michael Jordan decided to come out of retirement and rejoin the Bulls with only 34 games left in the season. He even switched from his unusual looking 45 to his terrifying 23 mid-series after Nick Anderson said, quote, "Number 45 is not number 23." End quote. The villain to every would-be hero. The Freddy Krueger to opponents' championship dreams was back. And it didn't matter. The Magic took care of them in 6. The Magic would then face the team that sent them home last year, the Indiana Pacers. This year would be different. The Magic went on to win a tough 7-game series where every team won at home. And the Orlando Magic were going to the NBA Finals in just their 6th year in existence. The Orlando Magic were no longer just a young and fun team. They were here to win and were favored against their matchup against the 6th-seeded Houston Rockets. There was just one problem though. This guy. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Footwork, finesse, power, rim protection. Whatever you needed, he had it in abundance. He averaged a scary 28 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks on 52% shooting. He was a league MVP just the year before, and he was the leading man to a team who had done what the Magic were trying to do, win an NBA championship. So here we go, Game 1. A close game throughout, but it really came down to the free throw line. The Magic are up by 3 points with less than 20 seconds left. They've missed a few layups on this possession, but were able to get key offensive rebounds to run more clock. Nick Anderson is fouled, and he has a chance to ice the game. He misses the first, but it's all good. Just need to knock down the next one. He missed again, but he gets his own rebound. So he's got 2 more chances to end this thing. He misses again. And in utter disbelief, he laughs because there's no way he's missing 4 in a row. But he does. And he looks to the heavens like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. Kenny the Jet Smith knocks down his 7th 3 of the game on the very next possession. Tie game. It goes into overtime. The Rockets run a play out of a timeout. Clyde Drexler drives to the lane and misses, but Hakeem is there to tip it in. The Magic lose Game 1, and they never recover. They get swept 4-0. Penny is even better than he was last season. The Orlando Magic stormed into the playoffs with a 60-win, 22-loss record, second best in the conference. Made quick work of the Detroit Pistons, sweeping them in 3 games, made quick work of the Atlanta Hawks, beating them 4-1. And now, the Chicago Bulls. But this wasn't last year's Bulls. These were the 72-win, 10-loss Bulls, the hell-bent on revenge Bulls. Michael was the villain in our hero's story this time, putting up sick numbers in a 4-game sweep of the Magic. He was back in full form. The Orlando Magic were going home, and things would never be the same for them after that. In the summer of 1996, it was time for Shaquille O'Neal to get paid. He had every intentions on signing with the Orlando Magic, but for the right price. Shaq made his demands, which came up to about $115 million. The Magic were hesitant, and their fans weren't pleased with the amount either. So much so that when they put a poll up in the Orlando Sentinel, asking fans if Shaq was worth $115 million for 7 years, 91% of them said no. 2 days later, Shaq was gone. He signed with the Los Angeles Lakers for $120 million. Penny found out the news during an Atlanta Olympic news conference for Dream Team 2. He had no idea. This leaves us to focus on our main character of the story. But first, we have to go back a little bit. Remember when the Magic swept the Pistons in 3 games last season? During Game 1 of that series, Joe Dumars crashed into the back of Penny's knee. It was uncomfortable, but he kept playing the rest of the postseason and for the Olympics that summer. But during the training camp of the 1996-1997 season, the pain in his knee got worse, and he had to have surgery. It was the beginning of the end for our hero. He was still the man, but he missed 23 games dealing with that knee. He put up heroic numbers against the Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs, but with Shaq gone, it wasn't enough. They lost the series deciding Game 5. At the beginning of the 1997-1998 season, Penny had to have another knee surgery, causing him to miss out on most of the regular season. Despite the injury, he was voted for his 4th straight All-Star game. It would be the last All-Star game he played in, and he was criticized for trying to come back early just to make the game. In the 19 games he did play that season, he put up decent numbers. In his 1998-1999 campaign, he played every game of the shortened lockout season. They were tied for the best regular season record in the Eastern Conference, but lost to the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the playoffs. That would be his final season in Orlando. Penny was now on the Phoenix Suns via sign and trade before the start of the 1999-2000 season. He was teaming up with All-Star Jason Kidd, forming a backcourt nicknamed Backcourt 2000. Injuries would rear its ugly head again. Penny's foot and Kidd's ankle would cause them to only play 45 games together, but they were 33-12 when they both played. In the 60 games Penny did play, the Suns would go 42-18, and he was his usual self. In total, the Suns went 53-29 on the season, good enough for the 5th seed in the Western Conference playoffs. They had a first-round matchup with the defending champs, the San Antonio Spurs. With Jason Kidd having to miss most of the series due to injury, Penny stepped up. The Suns beat the Spurs in 4 games, including Penny dropping a triple-double in Game 3. In the second round, they faced, you guessed it, Shaquille O'Neal and the Los Angeles Lakers, featuring a new Robin to his Batman, a young Kobe Bryant. Penny balled out, man, but it wasn't enough. The Lakers won the series in 5 games and would go on to win an NBA championship that season. Looking at this from Penny's perspective, this has to hurt. You lose your superstar big man, you only find out because he answered a question about it in a press conference you both were in. Then he achieves the goal that you two set out to accomplish together, but couldn't do. And he did it with the new young explosive guard in Kobe Bryant taking your place. That could have been their championship if they stayed together, who knows? Sports can be cruel that way. The Suns were optimistic about this season, and they should be. Making it to the second round of the playoffs last season with both of your stars battling injuries, good times were ahead. So they thought. Penny has to have 2 microfracture surgeries. He only played 4 games this season. Okay, this season health was on Penny's side, and he played 80 games. But Jason Kidd and Chris Dudley were traded to the New Jersey Nets in exchange for Stephon Marbury, Johnny Newman, and Sumaya Sumaki. Penny and Marbury's style of play clashed. The Suns also made a trade for Joe Johnson, moving Penny to the bench for the first time in his career. He entered the 2002-2003 season coming off the bench as well. His job at this point was to provide steady veteran play for the Suns' new young talents Amari Stoudemire and Sean Marion. The Suns took the eventual NBA champion San Antonio Spurs to 6 games in the first round, but Penny's season was During the 2003-2004 season, Penny Hardaway and Stephon Marbury were traded to the New York Knicks. At this point in time, this was where aging stars' careers went to die. In 42 games, Penny and Marbury helped get the Knicks to the playoffs, but they lost to the Nets in the first round. This was basically the swan song of Penny's career. He did what he could. I hate this part. The wear and tear on Penny's knees took whatever athleticism he had left in the tank. He could barely get on the court while trying to rehabilitate his arthritic knees. Penny was traded back to the Orlando Magic in 2006, but was waived 5 days later. Penny Hardaway was signed by the Miami Heat and hello, old friend. This picture to some doesn't mean much, but it means everything to our story. Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant big man. By this time, he was a 4-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, 14-time All-Star. He would get one more in 2009. I mean, Shaq has had a career that most would dream about. Penny's, and I hate to say it because he was a 4-time All-Star in his own right, was to him a nightmare.
Are you haunted by things? Are things scary to you about this life and this career?
Well, sometimes, I've dreamed that I've gotten a career in the injury in the league and can't play anymore, and I couldn't imagine that. But I've dreamed that. I've dreamed that I've never gotten back to win a ring. That's the fear that I have right now because of losing last year's finals.
His biggest fear coming true. His body betrayed him. It had nothing to do with skill or attitude. It was his knees. It was the surgeries. Penny Hardaway is the head basketball coach for his alma mater, the University of Memphis, where he was the man. Memphis even retired his number 25 jersey the year after he declared for the NBA draft. Penny was back, but he found his love for coaching in 2011 when he took over for his friend Desmond Merriweather as head coach for his old middle school, Leicester Middle School. While Desmond underwent treatment for colon cancer, Penny coached that team to the West Tennessee State title. In 2018, Penny was hired by Memphis University to become their head basketball coach and has already made them a competitive program again. If there's one thing that Penny has been able to do so far, it's recruit. Memphis hasn't won less than 20 games since Penny has become the head coach. I look forward to seeing what Penny can do in the future, but when I think about his career, it's hard not to think, what if? What if Nick hit those free throws? What if Shaq didn't leave? What if Penny's knees didn't betray him? It's hard not to think about, but it's also hard to deny that even though his prime was cut short, Penny Hardaway was a special basketball player during a very special time in the NBA. The dunks, the passes, the shoes, the commercials. Penny was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career and superstardom. It just wasn't meant to be. If you've watched this much, I just want to say thank you. Go ahead and hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and comment on what athletes I should cover next for this series. I'm Jay Chave. Love.